Across Europe, a vital conversation is always happening. It takes place in newspapers, on television, and at public events. This is the space where ideas about Europe's identity and future are discussed. At the heart of this discussion are public intellectuals. These are thinkers who step out of their usual professional roles to speak to the wider community. They are not politicians or activists trying to win votes or organize protests. Instead, they act as interpreters. Their job is to make sense of the complex issues facing the continent, from economic crises to questions of cultural identity, and present them in a way that everyone can understand and engage with. These thinkers help to frame the big questions. What does it mean to be European today? Where is the European Union heading? Is it a force for good in the world? They provide the language and the concepts that we use to debate these topics. By drawing on history, philosophy, and their own deep knowledge, they offer perspectives that go beyond the daily news cycle. They encourage us to think more deeply about the values that unite us and the challenges that could pull us apart. Their role is not to provide simple answers, but to enrich the conversation and ensure that it is thoughtful and well-informed, helping us navigate our shared European story. Consider the way we talk about major events like Brexit or the migration crisis. The initial news reports give us the facts, but it is often the intellectuals who provide the deeper analysis. They might write an essay explaining the historical roots of British Euroscepticism, or a book exploring the ethical dimensions of Europe's response to refugees. In doing so, they lift the debate above partisan politics. They connect the present moment to a larger historical and philosophical context. This allows for a more nuanced public understanding, moving beyond simple slogans and political point scoring to a genuine exploration of what is at stake for our societies. Therefore, the intellectual's primary contribution is one of clarification and interpretation. They are not trying to push a specific policy agenda in the way a lobbyist might. Their influence is more subtle, yet it can be profound. They shape the intellectual climate in which political decisions are made. By introducing new ideas and challenging old assumptions, they can gradually shift the terms of the debate. They are the ones who ask the uncomfortable questions and force us to confront difficult truths about ourselves and our continent. This essential work ensures that the public conversation about Europe remains dynamic, self-critical, and forward-looking. One of the most remarkable things about this public debate is the sheer diversity of voices that contribute to it. The people shaping these conversations are not just specialists in European Union politics. In fact, many of them are not. They are scholars from a wide array of fields. You will find law professors discussing the rule of law in Europe, novelists exploring themes of identity and memory, and historians drawing parallels between today's challenges and those of the past. This variety is a great strength. It means that the discussion about Europe is not confined to a small circle of experts in Brussels, but is enriched by a multitude of perspectives. These thinkers bring the tools of their own disciplines to the public square. A legal scholar might analyze a new EU directive not just for its technical details, but for what it says about the relationship between national sovereignty and European law. A writer, through a fictional story, might capture the human experience of living across borders better than any political report ever could. A philosopher might examine the moral principles underpinning European integration itself. Each one adds a different layer of meaning and understanding, preventing the debate from becoming too narrow or technical and keeping it grounded in broader human concerns. This interdisciplinary approach is crucial. It ensures that the conversation about Europe is about more than just economics and institutions. It becomes a conversation about culture, values, history, and justice. When a sociologist writes about social inequality across the continent, or an art historian discusses a shared European cultural heritage, they are participating in the construction of Europe as a shared public space. They remind us that the European project is not just a political or economic one. It is also a cultural and intellectual endeavor that involves all aspects of our lives and societies, from the books we read to the laws we live by. Because these intellectuals are not necessarily EU experts, they speak from their national context. They are deeply embedded in their own country's public life and traditions. A German historian will approach the question of European unity with a different set of historical memories than a Polish novelist or an Italian economist. This is not a weakness. It is the very essence of the European conversation. It is a dialogue between different national perspectives, each contributing its unique insights and concerns. This cross-pollination of ideas is what makes the European public sphere so uniquely vibrant and complex, a true reflection of the continent's famous motto, united in diversity. The impact of these intellectual interventions is never guaranteed. An idea launched into the public sphere can create massive waves, or it can sink without a trace. The reception of these thinkers' arguments depends heavily on the national context in which they are heard. Each country in Europe has its own distinct public debate, with its own history, preoccupations, and media landscape. An argument that resonates powerfully in France might be met with indifference or even hostility in the United Kingdom. Public opinion is not a passive recipient. It actively engages with, filters, and sometimes rejects the ideas presented by intellectuals. Think of it as a conversation. The intellectual speaks, but the public speaks back. This interaction is shaped by many factors. The political climate of the day plays a huge role. In times of national confidence, the public might be more open to ambitious ideas about European integration. During a period of economic anxiety, the same ideas might be dismissed as out-of-touch elitism. The media also acts as a powerful gatekeeper, deciding which voices to amplify and which to ignore. An essay published in a major national newspaper has a far greater chance of influencing opinion than one in a small academic journal. Sometimes, an intellectual's idea can capture the public imagination and fundamentally change the way a nation sees itself and its place in Europe. They might coin a phrase that enters the political lexicon, or offer a historical interpretation that becomes the new consensus. In these moments, they are not just commenting on the debate, they're actively shaping it. But just as often, their contributions are ignored, misunderstood, or drowned out by the noise of partisan politics. Success is not measured by whether everyone agrees with them, but by whether they have managed to stimulate a meaningful and lasting discussion among the public. This dynamic relationship means that public intellectuals are also shaped by the very debates they seek to influence. They must be attuned to the concerns and moods of their fellow citizens if they want to be heard. They are part of a continuous feedback loop. National public opinion sets the agenda, raising questions that intellectuals then try to answer. In turn, the answers and new ideas provided by the thinkers can shift the direction of public opinion. This ongoing dialogue between thinkers and the public is the engine that drives the evolution of our national and European identities, a constant negotiation of who we are and who we want to be. The public debates taking place within each European nation do not happen in isolation. They are connected, influencing and reflecting one another across borders. When a significant debate about Europe's future erupts in Germany, it is reported on and discussed in Italy, Spain, and Poland. The arguments of a French thinker are often translated and debated by their counterparts in other countries. In this way, a network of national conversations gradually weaves together to form a larger, pan-European public sphere. This process helps shape how different countries perceive each other, moving beyond old stereotypes to a more complex understanding of their neighbours. This cross-border exchange of ideas is vital for the health of the European project. It allows for a comparison of different approaches to common challenges. By seeing how another country is debating an issue like climate change or digital regulation, we can learn from their successes and failures. This is not about creating a single uniform European opinion. Instead, it is about fostering a shared space for dialogue where different national viewpoints can meet and interact respectfully. The goal is not to agree on everything, but to understand each other better and to find common ground where possible, strengthening the bonds between our societies. The focus of this entire process is on the ideas themselves, not on the fame of the individuals who propose them. While some public intellectuals become well-known figures, their celebrity is secondary to the quality and impact of their thoughts. The real measure of success is whether an idea travels, whether it sparks new conversations, and whether it helps people to see their world in a new light. It is a contest of arguments, not personalities. This emphasis on the substance of the debate is what distinguishes the intellectual public sphere from the world of partisan politics or celebrity culture, making it an indispensable forum for serious reflection. In conclusion, the role of public intellectuals in shaping the debate about Europe is subtle but essential. They are the interpreters who provide depth and context, the diverse voices who enrich the conversation, and the conversational partners who engage with national publics. Their work helps to weave the disparate threads of national debates into a common European narrative. As Europe continues to face profound questions about its identity, purpose, and future, this ongoing continent-wide dialogue is more important than ever. It is in this shared public square, through the free and open exchange of ideas, that the future of Europe will ultimately be shaped.